everyone, and welcome to Tinderloss Gaming, and welcome to episode 6 of my playthrough of the Dunwich Legacy for Arkham Horror, the living card game. As ever, this is part of the trilogy, the Old Codgers trilogy. This is the third Arkham Universe game we're playing, or I'm playing, with the same sort of characters. We've previously played Mansions of Madness and also Arkham Horror 3rd Edition with Charlie Kane, Norman Withers and Carson Sinclair. Unfortunately, Norman didn't make the cut for Arkham Horror LCG. I'm playing double-handed. Playing three-handed would just fry my brain a little bit. So we're just playing two-handed. And this is episode 6 of the Dunwich Legacy. I hope you're enjoying this series and the overall Old Codgers series. What I will be doing in future channel videos is going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to choose some ladies to take on the three games that we play. Let's see if they can do any better than the Old Codgers. Anyway, without further ado, let's get across to the table and see what's going on. Okay, here we are at the table. Done a little bit of setup as per usual. You don't really want to spend the first half an hour of me sort of rifling through my collection and doing various bits and bobs, but we've still got some setup to go through. First things first, we got a nice hefty 5 XP at the end of the last scenario. We had one from the previous scenario to that, and then we got 4 in that scenario. So we've had a mighty 5 to spend. Now, what I've done with Charlie, is I've spent, I've spent 3 on charisma. Let's get that first of all. 3 on charisma gives me an additional ally slot. He can take 1 as normal. His special rule allows him to take 3 more, and charisma gives us another 1. So I can take 5 allies in total. I thought I'd put charisma in. I mean, obviously it fits very well with Charlie, and also I put some more allies into his deck through the scenario, and also the other upgrade which I've done, which I've put in a 2-cost beat cop. He gives me +1 fight. He's got a fight on his icon, and another soak as well, just to give me and also agility. He's got an agility symbol as well. So quite nice to sort of spread Charlie out a little bit. Rather than just the clues, he can actually do some stuff. So charisma, I'm going to take off the board and put with my other upgrade, which was in the thick of it, which is the previous, my very first upgrade. So that's that. Beat cop goes in. I took a scene of the crime out. It is good. It's very good, but quite situational, really. But there we go. I've taken it out, and that's out now. So beat cop's going to go in. What's this thing here? Well, coming on to the scenario in a second, that's instructed us to search my collection for a madness, injury or pact weakness, and to put it into my deck, which is what I've done. I don't know what it is. I've done it off screen, trust me. I don't know what it is. I've got all my cards, shuffled them up, turned them over, picked one, and that's there. So that's going to go in the decks as an additional weakness, and beat cop is going to go in as well. And we will give that a shuffle up on screen now, just to make sure there's no shenanigans, and also to do the contractually obliged 2 Catweasel cuts that are required every video. So there we go. That's that shuffled up, and we'll do a Catweasel cut, the first one. Thank you very much, Catweasel. There we go. That's Charlie. Now on to Carson. I've been tempted. I have been tempted. I've spent 3 XP on my runic axe again to give me Saga, which is I replenish 2 charges at the start of the turn rather than just 1. So I've pumped a lot of XP into runic axe. I've put in 3 for ancient power, which allows me to imbue the same inscription up to 3 times. Saga, which was 3, which I've just said, we give us just 2 charges instead of 1. And Script Weaver, 4 XP For every charge spent, you may imbue the axe with up to 2 different inscriptions. So there we go. And we've gone all in on runic axe. Left me 2 XP, and I've upgraded one of my vicious blows to the 2 XP version, which is, I'm doing +1 damage. It comes in with 2 fight icons, but if I do succeed a test by 2 or more, I'm dealing +2 damage. So that's very, very nice. Same shenanigans over here. A madness injury or pact weakness, no idea what it is, so that can go in the deck. And then my vicious blow can go in the deck. And then we can give them a shuffle up. And the second contractually obliged cat weasel cut. Right, let's go through setup because I'll explain a couple of other things that's going on in the board. Let's read this. Scenario 5, although this is episode 6, Undimensioned and Unseen. Your search of the village of Dunwich has uncovered a number of documents, journal entries and esoteric theories. Reading through these material leaves you exhausted and emotionally drained. Most of the content was written by a single source, a man named Seth Bishop. When you ask around town, you learn that Seth is a citizen of Dunwich. Along with several others, Seth has witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the events of the Dunwich Horror, as Armitage had dubbed the incident. Curiously, since that time, very few people had seen Seth around town, and those who did claim his eyes had been bloodshot and his face sweaty and pale. You don't doubt that somebody who has seen what Seth had seen would appear nervous or paranoid. But the more you read of his frantic and unhinged writings, the more you believe he is involved in recent events. His writings speak of having gathered the remains and of using arcane methods to imbue the Father's essence into other creatures and eventually into other people. The explanations and diagrams that follow are unfathomably complex and defy understanding. Before you are able to find Seth and confront him, several men and women from the village approach you in panic. "It's back," one of them wails. You recognise him as Curtis Waitley of the Undecayed branch. Whatever it was that killed them Fries, it's back. Up and smashed the bishop's home like it was made of old paper. Curtis and the other townsfolk are clamouring amongst themselves, raising their voices in panic. The investigators must decide, choose one. You try to calm the townsfolk in order to learn more. You try to warn the townsfolk and convince them to evacuate. Well, I think I'm going to try and convince them to evacuate. It's not great. No, I think it's best to get out of town. So we're going to read part 2. You warn the townsfolk that they are in grave danger and urge them to flee Dunwich while they can. Several of them immediately heed your advice, remembering the terrible monstrosity that had previously endangered the town. Curtis drops to his knees in despair, sweating feverishly. "It's that thing again, isn't it? It's come back for us." Curtis stutters. "I hope you've got some of that powder the old professor had last time. We can't even see the damn thing until he sprayed it. To this day I wish I hadn't seen it at all. Something must be done to stop the monster's rampage. But if the documents you found are true, there may be more than one such creature on the loose. Record in your campaign log that you warned the townsfolk." Okay. Ugh. Blimey, I'm having to get my campaign log out already. You warned the townsfolk. Continues to set up. Gather all cards from the following encounter sets: Undimensioned and Unseen, Whippoorwills, lovely, Beast Thralls, Dunwich and Striking Fear, which is what I've done. Put one of the two versions of the following locations into play at random: Dunwich Village, Cold Spring Glen, Blasted Heath, 10 Acre Meadow, Devil's Hop Yard and Whately Ruins. Remove the other versions of each of those locations from the game. Each investigator begins at the Dunwich Village. So classically, we've got the two out. We're going to roll odds and evens to see what we get. Evens is going to be the top one. Odds is going to be the bottom one. So we'll start off at Dunwich Village. That's an evens. That's the top one. That can go here. Here. Evens. That's the top one. 10 Acre Meadow. That's a 3. So that's the bottom one. Cold Spring Glen. Odds. That's the bottom one. Devil's Hop Yard, evens, so that's the top one. And then here, Whately Ruins, evens, so that's the top one. We'll put those to one side. I think we're going to need those later. Check the number of names recorded under sacrifice to Yog-Sothoth in your campaign log. Well, we sacrificed 2, and it says, if there are exactly 2 names listed, put 1 copy of Brood of Yog-Sothoth into play at the Cold Spring Glen. And set 3 copies of Brood of Yog-Sothoth aside out of play. Then remove the final copy. So we've got 1 here and then we've got 3 off to the side. Set each copy of Historic Formula aside out of play, which is what I've done. An investigator with the power of Ibn in their deck may search their deck and put it into play. I have. And it enters with X clues, where X is the number of characters survived in the Dunwich Legacy. I 2 survived, so I've got 2 clues on it. And it's got a free action. Move 1 clue from the powder of Ibn Ghazi to an exhausted Brood of Yog-Sothoth at your location. Each investigator searches their collection for a random basic weakness, which is what I've done. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter deck, and then we can start playing. These have been shuffled, but we will do one on screen. Okay, right, nearly there. Undimensioned and Unseen scenario card. The skull is -1 for each brood in play. The cultist is reveal another token. If you fail, take 1 horror. The tablet is 0. You must either remove all clue tokens from a brood in play, or this token modifier is -4 instead. And then the Elder Thing is -3. And if this token is revealed during an attack or an evasion attempt against a brood, it immediately attacks you. Act 1A. Saracenic script. The monsters tearing through Dunwich County are immune to traditional weapons. Only by reciting a particular incantation can the creatures be defeated. First, you must search the ruins of Wilbur Whately's home in order to find the final sections of the otherworldly script. Objective: only investigators at Whately Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. And it's 2 per investigator, so we're going to need 4. Whately Ruins is down here. And then we've got Agenda 1A. Rampaging creatures. Reports of terrifying entities wreaking havoc across the countryside have caused the citizens of Dunwich to panic. Worse, the creature seems to be invisible to the naked eye. Forced. At the end of the enemy phase, move each brood enemy once towards a random location. And that's why we're going to keep those locations handy. Right, okay, I think we're good to go. One thing is missing, which is my coffee. So I'm going to go and sort that out, and then I'll get my little connectors going. Let's just get this a bit more central. And then we'll get some connectors going so I can see who's going to what. I'll go and get my coffee and then we'll be done. Right, we've got our coffee. We are good to go. Let's draw our opening hands. Let's get with Charlie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously looking for allies. Peter Sylvester would be good in this. We've got Bonnie Walsh, that's a keeper. Nkosi, I think, is a keeper. Calling in favours. Fire Axe. Trial by fire, I think we'll ditch. We're looking for a motivational speech if possible. I think I want to keep these two. I want to keep Nkosi because of his will icons. There's a lot of will stuff and obviously fighting the brood. Bonnie's obviously got 2 wild symbols. So drawing 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So we've got a calling in favours. We have got a motivational speech and we've got a Peter Sylvester. That is a good opening hand. That is pretty decent. This scenario is hard. I don't know whether I'm going to get the chance to kill all of the brutes. I've only played this scenario a couple of times before, and it's been a while, but I remember it being, and I watched some videos on it as well. Trying to kill 4 of these brutes is particularly difficult, so we'll see where we get. So that's Charlie's opening hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously with Carson, we're looking for a runic axe, if at all possible. There's some enemies in here. I know I can't hurt the brood with the axe, but there are some enemies in there that will need to be dealt with. Backpack, live and learn, venturer, hunter's armor, evidence. Not keeping any of that. Hard mulligan for the runic axe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have got a Dr. Francis Morgan. We've got an amnesia, so we'll draw another card. We've got to take the initiative. We've got an inspiring presence. We've got a backpack and we've got a wolf mask. Okay, well, backpack will help. Backpack will help. Inspiring presence. Francis Morgan. Okay. Not as good. Not as good. Okay, we're ready to go. Need 4 clues. We need to be at Whately Ruins. This is the first part we need to do. So Dunwich the Dunwich Village comes in with 1 clue. 3 shroud. We can resign there, can hide from the creatures. As a free action, you borrow some hounds to track the creatures by scent. An investigator in Dunwich Horror may place one of his or her clues on any abomination in play. Right, okay. So I think first things first, we'll go with okay. Who do I go with first? I think I'm going to go with Carson first. Going to pay 2. First action for a backpack. Down to 3. Search the top 6 cards of your deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're looking for item or supply cards. evidence. We've got, oh, there's our runic axe. There is our runic axe. And we've got a custom modification as well, which is a supply. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Happy with that. We searched the top 6 cards for our 3 non-weakness item or supply cards and attached them face down to pack packs. Shuffle your deck. Cards and backpack may be played as if they were in your hand. That was worth it. So these get all placed under. I'm not going to place them face down. Never see the point in that. Actually, I'm going to take the runic axe out because I'm going to play that in a second. Second action, gain a resource. Before we play the runic axe, I'm going to give Charlie an additional action. And his additional action is going to be to play motivational speech. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator may play an allied asset from their hand, reducing its cost by 3. And I think just for versatility, we're going to play Bonnie Walsh. That's good. And then the third and final action from Carson is going to be to play the runic axe. Comes in with 4 charges. Oh, nice. That's Carson done. Moving across to Charlie. First things first, I'm going to pay 3, so down to 2, to play Peter. And he's given us plus agility and plus will, which is really awesome for this scenario. Second action, I'm going to gain a resource. I'm thinking of about next turn. I've got 4 to play Nkosi. And then the third action, we're going to investigate and exhaust Bonnie Walsh, who gives us 1 for the matching symbol because it's a wild. That's why I'm playing it. So we're currently at 2. And then the 2 wild symbols, we go to 4. 4 versus 3 is not great. We'll make it 5 versus 3 with calling in favours. And Carson will help out by playing an inspiring presence. So we're 6 versus 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. How's the chaos bag going to be today? -1 for each brood. We're at -1. So we pass. We get our clue. That's going to go over here. That's going to go there. And as a free action, we are going to do the action here, Dunwich Village, to borrow some hounds to track the creatures by scent. An investigator in Dunwich Village may place one of his or her clues on any abomination in play. We'll place it onto here. And what I will do is, just as a marker, I'll use my chaos curse tokens to say that that's been done. That once per game has been completed. And that is it for Charlie. Okay. All right, I'm happy with that. Oh. We go to the enemy phase. The brood doesn't move, and there's no other enemies in place. Then we need to choose a random location. We'll get our dice. 1 is the bottom, so 1's going to go to Dunwich Village. Oh, okay, Dunwich Village. That is slightly frustrating. Probably the worst place it could have gone, obviously. But that's at the end of the enemy phase, so he doesn't attack us or do anything like that. We go to upkeep phase. We ready up? We get our actions back. Volley Walsh readies. We draw a card. We get a maimed hand. This is one of the injuries that I put in. This is the one. You must either put a maimed hand into play in your threat area or take 1 damage and shuffle it into your deck. It cannot leave play except for the ability below. 2 actions to discard maim hand. I'm not going to take the damage. I'm going to take the actions because I don't want it going back into my deck. Carson is going to draw Hallowed Mirror. Nice. Very nice. We gain a resource. Charlie goes to 4. Carson goes to 5. That's it. Go to the Mythos phase. We put 1 doom on rampaging creatures. 1 of 6. 1 of 5. We draw a card for Charlie. Ruin and Destruction. If there are no investigators at the same location as Brood, there is. Otherwise, each investigator at the same location as Brood tests Agility 3. For each point he or she fails, he takes 1 damage. Oh, God. All right, so we'll test first with Carson. Oh, that's annoying. I'm currently 1 with Charlie. Currently 1 with Charlie. I'm going to take it. 1 versus 3. Actually, hang on. Let me think about this. Vade is going to be... Yeah, I think that's still doable. I will exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give us +3. 2 for the symbols and 1 because it counts as a symbol. So we are 4 versus 3. 5 versus 3 because I've got +1 for Peter Sylvester. 5 versus 3. Ah, of course, 0. So I take 3 3 damage. One onto Bonnie. And 2 and 2 onto Charlie, down to 3. 1. 2. Then we've got an agility test over here for Carson. Hmm. Two on 3. 2 on 3. I'm going to go with that. 2 on 3. 0. Take 1 damage. Down to 5. And that was the first encounter card. Carson's encounter. Lupine Thrall. Spawned furthest location away from you. 1, 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's put him at the Devil's Hop Yard. Let's put him at the Devil's Hop Yard. Then we go to my turn. We'll start off with Carson. He's going to attempt to evade the brood. First action is to evade. Base of 2. I'll play take the initiative for an additional 3. So that's 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. We'll play the Wolf Mask to make it 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. 0. We evade it. Okay. We're also going to do the Powder of Ibn Ghazi. Move 1 clue from Powder of Ibn Ghazi to an exhausted brood at your location. I'm going to put both of them on to that brood whilst we've got the chance. Do we try and do some damage whilst it's evaded and all that sort of stuff? So for each clue, oh no, I can't. Yeah, I haven't got the formula. That's fine. That's fine. Those have gone. Getting ahead of myself. I need my formula first before I can start killing it. But we've got 3 clues on it, which is good. So second action from Carson. Second action from Carson is going to be will be for Charlie. Charlie is going to spend 4 to put Nkosi into play. Second action from Carson is going to be to move down to the Cold Spring. 2 Shroud, no clues. Each enemy in Cold Spring gets -1 evade. After Cold Spring, Glenn is chosen as a random location. An investigator in Cold Spring tests agility 3. If successful, choose. Oh, okay, I see what that's doing. Yeah, if it's going to move to the Cold Spring, we can stop it from moving. But it's got no clues in it, which is a bit frustrating. That was my second action. My third action is going to spend 3 down to 2 to play Dr. Francis Morgan. Gives us 4 health and we get +1 fight. And after I defeat an enemy, I can draw a card. Right, that's the coffee done. And that is it for Carson. Charlie, first 2 actions are going to be to discard main hand. Third action is going to be to move down to be with Carson. And stick together, boys. Stick together. Okay. That's it. That's it. We go to the enemy phase. That was the investigation phase. We go to the enemy phase. It doesn't ready, but it does move. It does move even though it's exhausted. So we'll go for 6, which is Waitley Ruins. It's going to move towards Waitley Ruins and we get to choose. So it's going to come through the 10-acre meadow. Because it can go, it's exactly the same number. It stays exhausted for the time being. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready our cards. The brood readies. We get our actions back. We draw a card. Charlie is going to get a dark horse. Very nice. Carson is going to get live and learn. We gain a resource. Charlie's up to 1. Carson's up to 3. We go to the mythos phase. We put a doom onto the agenda. 2 of 5. Charlie is going to get, Lupine Thrall should have moved. And it's going to move down because it's heading towards Charlie. Right. We draw a card for Charlie. Charlie is going to get Towering Beasts. That is really not what we wanted to get. Attached to brood, enemy in play. If the enemies are location, take a damage. Attached enemy gets +1 fight, +1 health. That is not great. Oops. God. So it's now 4 health. And 7 fight. See what I mean about this scenario? And that's just the first one. There's 3 more. Oh, God. So that was Charlie's card. Carson's card is going to be the creature tracks peril. You must either choose one, take 2 horror, or spawn a set-aside brood at a random location. Mm. 2 horror or a brood. Do I want 2 broods at this point running about? Not really. Maybe a mistake. Might come to. I'm going to take 2 horror down to 4. I just don't want another brood out at this point. I couldn't. I've only got Francis Morgan's only got one sanity. He's got 4 health. Okay. Investigation phase. Carson is going to go first, and the first thing he's going to do is going to give Charlie an additional action, and Charlie's going to take a resource. So his first proper action actually, let's do this while we've got the opportunity, is to pay 2 down to 1 to play a hallowed mirror. After hallowed mirror enters play, search your bonded cards for 3 copies of Soothing Melody. 1, 2, 3. Add 1 to your hand and shuffle the 2 into your deck. So we've got some healing. We have got some healing, which is very nice. There's not a lot of healing in this game. So that's my first action. Second action, I need to deal with this lupine thrall. It's going to be to move in. And the lupine thrall immediately engages us. My third action is going to be to fight with the runic axe. 4 fight, 3 health. So I need to pump at least 2 of these runic axes. As I've said with runic axe, I've got ancient power, saga, and script weaver. So ancient power means I can imbue the same inscription up to 3 times. Saga is I replenish 2 charges at the start of the round instead of 1. And script weaver is for every charge spent, you can imbue the axe with up to 2 different inscriptions. So let's work this out. So I'm currently fight 2. 3 for Francis Morgan, 4 because I'm fighting with the axe. I get +4 because I'm spending accuracy, so I'm at 8. 8 versus 4, and I'll be doing 3 damage because I've got power as well. So I think 8 versus 4 should be enough. So I'll stick with 8 versus 4. -1. More than enough. +2 damage. 1 natural, +2 is 3. That kills the lupine thrall. I'll exhaust Dr. Francis Morgan to draw a card. I get another backpack. And that is it for Carson when he entered. Should have flipped over Whately Ruins. It is 3 shroud, 4 clues per investigator. No, sorry, 2 clues per investigator. So 4 on there. But I do get -1 willpower, which is delightful. Need to start working on those in a minute. So we go across to Charlie. First action, gain a resource. Second action is to spend 3 to play Dark Horse. Third action is going to be to move into the Whately Ruins with Carson. I think that's it. I think that is it. We go to the enemy phase. Lupine thrall is dealt with. We go to the end of the... Let's shuffle these up just to mix it up a little bit. Again, 1 is the bottom. 5, which is going to be Whately Ruins. Oh dear, oh dear. So the big boy is going to come over and say hello to our investigators. This brood is loving the investigators. He is loving it. But that we're past the enemy phase, so he doesn't attack us. Okay, we go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. We draw a card. Charlie is going to get trial by fire. Carson is going to get adventurer. We gain a resource. Charlie's going to choose not to gain a resource. Don't need to with Dark Horse. We gain our actions back. We go across to the Mythos phase. We put 1 doom, 3 of 5 on rampaging creatures. Charlie's going to draw a card. Charlie is going to get Sordid and Silent. Add Sordid and Silent to your location. At the end of the round, each investigator at attached location takes 1 horror. When the agenda advances, discard Sordid and Silent. getting a bit busy over at the Waitley Ruins, not surprisingly. And then Carson is going to get Rotting Remains. Test Wheel 3. For each point you fail, take 1 horror. So I'm 2 versus 3 at the moment. We'll attempt it at 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3. No, we fail. But I will then play a Live and Learn. Give me +2 to this skill test. So I'm currently 4 versus 3. And Charlie will help out with a trial by fire to make it 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. Oh my God. Oh, -4. That's a killer. That is a killer. So we fail by 3. We fail by 3, so we're going to be taking 3 horror. I am going to put 1 onto Francis Morgan, killing him, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. And then I'll have to take 2. So I'm down to 2 horror. Wow. Rotting Remains, man. That's it, thankfully, for the Mythos phase. Oh God, what's going on here? Go to the investigation phase. Was hoping to get some clues off this turn. But my first priority is going to be to try and exhaust the brood. So we'll start off. We have to start off with Charlie. We have to start off with Charlie, who's going to do an evade test. I'll exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give us +3 effectively. So we're 1, 3, so 4, 5 for Peter Sylvester, 6 for Dark Horse. Charlie's going to chuck it, Carson's going to chuck in a backpack to make it 7. 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3. +1. We evade it. But we are going to have to get out of dodge. So that was Charlie's first activation. Second activation is going to be to move to the Devil's Hop Yard. 1 shroud, 2 clues on it. Very nice. And we can lure the creature there and place up to 2 clues on an abomination once it's there. No, we can't lure it. But an investigator, it says, you lure the creature into the thick fog. An investigator in Devil's Hop Yard may place up to 2 of his or her clues on abomination in Devil's Hop Yard. So we don't actually get to move it, but if it's there and we're there, we can. That was Charlie's second activation. His third activation is to go just to draw a card. Got a cat burglar. Okay, that comes in handy for... He's got agility and will, which is very nice. And he gives us +1 agility as well. Okay. That could be quite nice. That is it for Charlie's activation. Carson is first of all going to spend 0 on a hallowed mirror. Going to heal 2 horror. So back up to 4. One, 2. We also get to draw a card from that. Oh. So Dread Curse means I add 5 Chaos tokens. 5 cursed tokens to the bag. All right. Well, that was one of them. 2, 3, 4, 5. What we're going to use, we'll use this to just say we've done that. Was going so well. Was going so well. So second action. Second action. We're going to move to the Devil's Hop Yard. Nikosi would choose the skull as well. Sorry, I should have chosen the symbol. I always forget to do that. We'll choose the skull. Whilst Carson's at the same location as Charlie, Charlie's going to get an additional action. Do I do it to gain a resource? That does turn off Dark Horse, but then I can save up to get Cat Burglar, which I think is going to be very useful. So I'll take 1 resource. It does turn off Dark Horse, which is a bit annoying, but that's the rub. And then third action from Carson, he's going to draw a card. Oh no, actually, does he have a go at investigating? I think he has a go at investigating. So we're 2. We'll chuck a venturer in to make it 3. 3 versus 1. I've had worse odds. 3 versus 1. -1 for each brood. Got it. Carson gets a clue, which is quite unusual. And that's it. All we need now is the brood to move away, get that one of the Devil's Hop Yard, hop back down to Whately's Ruin, and then we might be there. Okay. Enemy phase. We go to the end of the enemy phase. We roll our dice. 3. 1, 2, 3 is the blasted heath. Oh my God. The blasted heath, the only way that the brood can get there is to come up here. So the brood's going to move to there. You can't get to the blasted heath through the 10-acre meadow. Hey ho. We go to upkeep phase. We're ready up. I think it's because we put the clues on it so early that this brood has got our scent. Get our actions back. Draw a card. Charlie is going to get a motivational speech. Now that is awesome. Carson is going to get a take the initiative. Okay. We gain a resource. Charlie's going to decide not to gain a resource this turn. That's the end of the upkeep phase. We'll go to the mythos phase. 4 of 5 for rampaging creatures. Charlie is going to get his encounter card. The creature tracks. Take 2 horror or spawn a brood at the random location. No thank you. We will put 2 horror. We'll put 1 on Peter. And we'll put 1 on the cozy. Or do we put them both on Peter? We'll put them both on Peter. That's what he's there for. That is what he's there for. And Carson is going to get a whippoorwill. A whippoorwill joins us. Aloof. -1 to our stats. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well played, game designers. Investigation phase. Right. I need to have a little think here. Number 1 priority is to evade the brood. Number 2 priority is to get the clue. Number 3 priority is to kill the whippoorwill. Too often in games I've seen, and it's been me as well, I've left those whippoorwills to run around the board because you don't really think they're doing a lot. They're aloof, you know, they don't, but they -1 to all your stats. I mean, Dark Horse is considered a very good card, gives you +1 to all your stats. So whippoorwill is the opposite of that. And you should think about it in the same sort of like, this is considered a very, very good card. Whippoorwill should be considered a very, very bad card, in my opinion. So although they take actions to kill, and this is an actions game, the priority for me is always to get rid of it. Don't let it follow you around. Okay, all that said, so priority 1 is evading the brood. Evade of 3. We're currently evading at -1. How many clues can have? Is there any number of maximum clues that a brood can have? No, but we're using that limit. So I'm not going to put any more on because once you've done it, you've done it. It's closed. So let's leave that for later broods. So back to evading. Where are we with Peter And, well, can Charlie evade, first of all? I think I'm going to do this, and it's a bit about arse about face, as I say here in the UK, because it will mean something happens. So first of all, I'm going to play for my first action a motivational speech. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator may play an ally asset from the hand, reducing its cost by 3. So cat burglar is going to cost me 1. So I go down to 0. I put cat burglar into play. I have to then take 2 and 2 from the brood. So I'm going to put 1 damage on Nikosi and 1 onto Bonnie. I'll put 1 damage onto Nikosi. And I'll put 1 damage onto cat burglar. Then we need to evade this thing. My second action. Second action is going to be to evade. Now I am currently evade of 1. Because I've got 1 here. I get +1 for Peter Sylvester. 2. So I'm at, ignore this 1 on here, I'm at 2. 3 for Dark Horse. I'll exhaust. I'll exhaust cat burglar to give me another +2. So I'm currently 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for exhausting cat burglar. I'll exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give me another 3. She's got 2 wild symbols on there. So that's 8. 8 versus 3. I can, after I exhaust Bonnie Walsh, I can ready another ally asset. So I'll ready him. I've already exhausted him. So it's 8 versus 3. 8 versus 3. -2. 6 versus 3. We've done it. 6 versus 3. We evade it. Third action. Going to move Charlie down to the Whately ruins. Oh, should have got my 2. Should have got my 2 resources back. At the end of my turn, Charlie's turn, Peter will heal a horror. Okay. First action from Carson is to engage the whippoorwill. Currently fight 2. I'll fight with the runic axe and I'll spend a charge. So I'm 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 versus 2. Do you know what? I'm going to spend another one to make it 7 versus 2. With those cursed... Oh, I put the cursed token back in here, didn't I? Hang on. Let me get that out. That comes out. Why am I putting that back in? So 7 versus 2. That is right, isn't it? 2 here. 3 for the plus for the fight. 4, 5. Yeah. 7 versus 2. There we go. 5 versus 2. Oh my God. Oh, you are joking me. What? Seven versus 2. Can you honestly? What literally are the odds of that? Tell me, please. Somebody in the comments. 5 curse tokens in the bag, and I pull 3 on the bounce. Shaking it up. What time is it? 56 minutes in of this bit, so we're probably about an hour, just over an hour and 12 minutes, I think, so about an hour and 10 minutes. Mark this time, hour and 10 minutes into the video. Whoa. So we failed. We failed to kill the whippoorwill with a runic axe. Those 3 go. Honestly. Second action. Same thing. Spend 2 resources. 7 versus 2. -1. Kills it. Third action. Going to be moved down. And I will take an additional action for Charlie to draw a card. He draws a Rise to the Occasion. That is it. We go to the enemy phase. Where's this thing moving? 2. 1, 2. He's going to Cold Spring Glen. Cold Spring Glen. So he's going to move back down to Wakely Ruins. It's the only way you can get there. Because Devil's Hop Yard is not connected to Tanaka Meadow. I'll ready him up because he's going to ready in a second anyway. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. Man, this thing is following us. Ready, Bonnie. I told you this scenario was hard. I told you. Get our actions back. We draw a card. Charlie is going to draw another Peter Sylvester. Carson is going to draw a Vicious Blow. The upgraded version. gain a resource. Carson's up to 4. Charlie is going to decide not to gain a resource. We go to the mythos phase. We put our 5th one onto rampaging creatures. We read rampaging creatures. An old pickup truck rolls to a stop along the weathered trails of Dunwich. The driver, Joe Osborne, calls out to you through a shattered driver's window, the truck's engine still running. "It's over at Eric's farm," he shouts. "Done blasted their place apart, poor Henry and Martha." You ask Osborne for the location of the Eric's homestead, and it confirms your worst fear. For the attack to have occurred recently, there must be more monsters on the loose. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Spawn 1 set-aside brood at a random location if able. Okay, we'll do that in a sec. And then we go on to Agenda 2A. Biding its time. Once in a while, a wind sweeping up out of Cold Spring Glen would bring a touch of ineffable theta into the night air. But the looked-for terror did not appear. Whatever was down there in the glen was biding its time, and Armitage told his colleagues it would be suicidal to try and attack it in the dark. Forced, at the end of the enemy phase, move a brood enemy once towards a random location. This has got 6 on it. So we're going to shuffle this stuff into the encounter deck. We could have a good go at that brood. Just can't get the resources, the clues. Do a cat weasel cut. We grab one of the broods, and it's going to go to 1. Which is the 10-acre meadow. We draw an encounter card for Charlie. Charlie is going to get Frozen in Fear. Put into your play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions: move, fight, or evade. Each round it costs you 1 additional action. Test will 3 at the end of the turn. We need to get rid of that. Carson is going to get the creature tracks. You must either choose one, take 2 horror, or spawn a set-aside brood at a random location. I can't afford to take 2 horror. I can't afford to take 2 horror. I've got no healing. I mean, I know there's some soothing melodies in there. Brood. Let's shuffle these up. One is the bottom. 2. 1, 2. Wakely Ruins. Wakely Ruins. Oh, God. There's another brood at the Wakely Ruins. Okay. Do you know what? Do I resign? Do I resign? It feels a bit wrong to hide from the creatures, doesn't it? And it feels like it could come back to bite us. Let me have a think. Go to the investigation phase. Right. Haven't had a think about it. So The thing is, I don't think I've ever done this before, where a scenario has had a resign option on it, and I've resigned. And I think that's in my head. But when you look at it, so we've yet to get this esoteric formula. We've got one clue. We need to get 3 more clues, which is doable. There are 3 broods out, and we can only damage them 1 damage at a time. So we've got to do 3, 6, 10 damage, 10 actions, 10 successful actions. We've also got to get clues to put onto these 2 brood to reduce, to make our chance of hitting them better. Charlie's currently on 3 health. All of his allies have taken a bit of damage. It's going to come back to bite us, because obviously these broods will, if we don't kill them now, they will probably appear in another scenario. I can't remember, it's been so long since I played Dunwich Legacy, but you can only imagine if you don't kill something, it's going to come back to bite you. So I'm delaying the issue. I'm delaying the issue. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. But the way the board is at the minute, I think yeah, okay. I think I've made my decision. Okay, so we've got, first things first, we've got to try and evade 2 broods. And frozen in fear means it's going to cost us 2 actions to evade. And Charlie is my better person to try and evade the broods. So let's start off with Charlie. So his first 2 actions, he's going to try and evade the big boy. So currently I am at 1, 2, 3, 4 because of Dark Horse. So 4 versus 3. I will exhaust Cat Burglar to give us 6 versus 3. Six versus 3. And I will exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give us an additional 3. So 9 versus 3. 9 versus 3. I haven't got to get back Cat Burglar. 9 versus 3. -3 for each brood, or -1 for each brood, so -3. So we pass. He is evaded. And because we exhausted Bonnie Walsh, we do get to ready Cat Burglar. So that was my first 2 actions. My third action is going to be to evade this brood. So 1, 2, 3. We will exhaust Cat Burglar to give us another 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. Actually, I'll play a rise to the occasion, which because our base is 1 and it's 3. So 8 versus 3. 8 versus 3. Zero. We evade that one as well. Well, that is it for Charlie. Going to activate Carson. For his first action, for his first additional action, he's going to give Charlie an action. Charlie's going to move to the Cold Spring Glen. First action, move. Now, do I get Carson out of here before? I think we do. Second action is to move back to Dunwich Village. Third action, I don't like doing it. I'm going to resign. That could come back to bite us. Oh, at the end of my turn, test wheel 3. Sorry, should do the frozen in fear test. I'm currently 2. 1 because of Charlie, 2 because of Peter. I will exhaust Nicosi, and I'll exhaust Peter Sylvester to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 3. 8 versus 3 because of Dark Horse. 8 versus 3 to get rid of Frozen in Fear. +1. We get rid of Frozen in Fear. And that's it for the investigator phase. We move on to the enemy phase. We'll shuffle these up and then we'll roll the dice. Okay. This one here, 1 is the bottom. 3. 1, 2, 3. Going to Whately Ruins. The big boy. 3. He's going to stay at Whately Ruins. The little boy, exhausted. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to Cold Spring Glen. He's going to Cold Spring Glen. Of course he is. Of course he is. I might as well ready him up because we're all going to ready now when we go to the upkeep phase. We ready all of these. We ready all of these. I'm not going to gain a resource, but I'm going to draw a card for Charlie. Charlie gets Mariner's Compass. Not really any much help now. Not going to gain a resource. I think that's it. Oh, this one was ready as well. Boom. We go to the upkeep phase. We put 1 onto biding its time. We draw a card for Charlie. Lupine Thrall, the furthest location away. So 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll put the, that's where it went last time. We'll put it there at the Devil's Hop Yard. Then we're going to go to the investigation phase. Well, first things first, we've got to try and evade this thing. we will do the same thing. We'll exhaust cat burglar. Charlie's. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for exhausting cat burglar. We'll exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give us a +3. So 9. 9 versus 3. -9 versus 3. -3. We pass. We can unexhaust cat burglar because of Bonnie Walsh. He's exhausted. That was our first action to evade. Second action to move to Dunwich Village. Third action to resign. Oh, I feel really bad doing that. Oh, I feel really bad doing that. But I just didn't think it was going to be possible. This scenario is really, really hard. Really hard. I thought I was this game. This is why I love playing. This is why it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Oh, those three curse tokens, seriously, to kill a whippoorwill. Oh God. Did I make the right decision, or was I too cowardly, would be my feeling. Or have I taken the option to look at the war and not the battle? Possibly. But I got a feeling that's going to come back to bite me. But that's Future Mark's problem. That's what I like. That's Future Mark's problem. But we don't get any experience, obviously, because we didn't kill anything. So let's have a little read. Let's have a little read. If no resolution was reached, each investigator resigned or was defeated, go to resolution 1. You did all you could to stop the rampaging monsters. Did I? But there were more than them than you realised, absolutely, and you weren't able to slay them all. Exhausted and terrified, you retreat to Zebulon's home and hope to survive the night. In your campaign log, record X brood escaped into the wild. Well, there's going to be 4, because there's one still in the... So 4 brood escaped into the wild. 4 brood escaped into the wild. I've got a feeling that's going to be a big bite later on. I could be wrong. If your investigator's deck contains the power of Benghazi, remove it from that investigator's deck. Take it out. And each investigator earns experience equal to the value in the display. Well, let's have a quick count up of how much is in our victory display. 0. 0. Anyway, that's it. A very short one this time. Usually going on for a couple of hours, but I think we're probably about an hour and a half or so. I just, I couldn't see any way of winning that. I couldn't see any way of doing it. Had you just been able to kill the broods, normally, 6 fights still pretty decent. I mean, they've only got 1 health. 3 health, obviously, because of the scenario. Then possibly that's the tricky thing with this. You can only do 1 pip of damage at a time. That was my deciding factor in resigning. Doing 1 pip of damage each time, and you have to be successful when you hit. Just not enough actions for me. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this scenario. I hope it's given you some pointers for when you play it yourself. Let me know how you get on. If you do play it, let me know your tactics. Did I play it right? I felt I played it right, getting Bonnie and Peter out, Wheel tests. We know there's a lot of wheel tests in there. We know this is a wheel test to try and hit the brood. So I felt I was playing it okay. I felt that Carson was doing what he was supposed to do, which was to take any monsters on out of the deck with his runic axe. But still doesn't feel quite right. Anyway, I'm probably being too hard on myself. It's there for a reason. The designers obviously put it in there as a reason. They understand that this is maybe a difficult scenario, so it gives you an option of resigning. So maybe maybe I've played a designer's choice. Anyway, I shall sleep well tonight. Hope you enjoyed the scenario. Hope you're enjoying the playthrough, and we will be moving on. What's the next scenario called? The next scenario is called Where Doom Awaits. Where Doom Awaits is the next one on the channel. Anyway, that's enough for me. Ta-da for now.